Speed Demon seems to be working in a strange way, but what's going on? I've spent the past days testing, and here's everything I discovered so far. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fallout 76 video, an intense one which compiles dozens of testing hours in hopes to demystify what's behind the irregularities in team mode when it comes to damage received and defenses. And yes, I've been with the flu in these past days, that's why no videos and why my voice sounds so weird, bad, strange, whatever. Well, I was a bit fed up with it, so here goes nothing. Now, the discoveries you are about to see apply to both live servers and the public test servers with update 32, just to make it clear. Before we begin, I want to leave a disclaimer that the information in this video might not be 100% accurate, and there might be bugs affecting the results for all I know. It was a very despairing and wild journey since we had to test so many different things to get to the conclusions in this video. Anyhow, if you guys know more about the matter, feel free to share in the comments below. I also want to thank Madocrod for playing the third tester. Without him, a lot of the info in this video wouldn't be possible as it is. Alright, with that being said, let's start with the test criteria. What did I use to create the same environments for every test? Let's do this. Before I show you my discoveries about Speed Demon and something else, I just want to make the test criteria clear. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to proceed when you don't know what build, gear, perks or mutations I used during the test. I am showing everything in this section, so feel free to stop at any time to check things in detail. Also, keep in mind that I will mention any new additions for other characters as we go, such as who has what at what time. Overall, I tested without damage block perks like Dodgy, Ricochet or Serendipity. I removed those on purpose. I also tested with around 130 HP to avoid dying all the time, and had Fireproof rank 3 always equipped. Needless to say that my main always had Empath and Speed Demon mutations active with an welding full armor set. Lastly, I know this one is obvious, but I have to point it out anyway. Your build drastically affects your defenses. In other words, if you're too strong to deny all self-damage already, then you will have some problems to replicate the tests I conducted here. If you no longer take self-damage, it's pretty much impossible to understand if anything else is stacking regarding defenses. You know, how do you know if something is stacking upon Empath in team mode if you take 0 damage already? So with that being said, let's jump to Empath. I want to make it clear how it works right now and break some sort of misconception. Let's get there. You might be wondering why Empath though? Well, because this is the main mutation which affects players' defenses or damage reduction while in a team. It also stacks with 2 other things I am covering in this video, so it's one of the key elements, therefore I had to talk about it. Plus, I feel like there's a general misconception about how it works. I talked to several people in these past days while trying to figure out what was the problem with update 32 damage and defense in general. Part of that will come in another video because it was too much for this one. And most people told me Empath does not stack. That one seems to be true at least. And the second thing was that it works on its own. As in, you can become a teammate of yourself and fully benefit from Empath, but that's not true. I tested it a couple of times both on live and test servers just to make sure, and as shown, I never benefit from the minus damage bonus of Empath until another Empath player tags along. Since, well, it's a bit difficult to become a teammate of my own character, right? I know this sort of devious logic works for some other mutations, like herd mentality, but for Empath, it does not work that way. I don't even know why people think that's a thing, unless there is a bug which is not triggering for me, or other creators have been saying Empath works on its own, therefore spreading false information on how Empath works. It could be one or the other. I'm not certain where this myth came from, but I don't think it matters that much in this case. All what matters is that Empath does not work with yourself alone. You always need another Empath player in your team to benefit from the minus received damage buff. It also does not about stack, which means 2, 3, or 4 empaths in a team generates the same exact buff. But empath is not the only mutation boosting players' defenses, as strange as it sounds. That's right, everyone. Speed Demon appears to be incredibly bugged because currently, as it is, and until update 32, it's able to boost your defenses while part of a team. We most likely have been living with this hidden effect for a very long time, but it's just hardly anyone has ever noticed. And that's because it requires so much testing to narrow things down. I knew something was off with mutations and defenses, I just didn't know what exactly. You guys can't imagine what sort of tests we did to find out Speed Demon was the culprit. We went as far as testing one mutation at a time to see if or which ones boosted defenses, and voila, Speed Demon was the only one, apart from Empath, of course. I kept hitting the floor with my Gauss shotgun every time a Mad Dog crowd here learned a new mutation, learned that one, and then learned another one, and so forth. It was a tedious process, but a very reliable one, and it worked. We found out what was causing this strange irregularity in team mode. I don't expect you guys to believe me just based on this not very convincing footage, so here's more solid proof. I learned all my mutations on my ult, then learned Marsupial, random mutation really, and the card damage was pretty high on me. So, standard test. It's the same as if I was solo, to be precise with you. I then learned Healing Factor and it was the same. However, as soon as I learned Speed Demon with my ult, voila, my received damage on my main from car explosions suddenly became less. It got decreased. I could even hit this big car with the most damage without dying. Another test I did was while shooting at the ground. This time I take lots of damage as solo, but as soon as my ult with Speed Demon joined along, I became immune to my Gauss shotgun damage. The mysteries of Fallout 76, isn't it like that? To clear any doubts, I switched roles with Mad Dog here. He tested the damage and I learned mutations. I started only with Speed Demon. Take a closer look at Mad Dog's received damage. Then I went ahead and used a Radaway to remove Speed Demon. And look what happens when Mad Dog hits himself again. Yep, the self-inflicted damage is higher this time. Here's a side-by-side comparison, so there's no doubts about this one. Anyway, I went ahead and learned a random mutation, Healing Factor, and the damage received was the exact same as when I had no mutations. I persisted to make my point clear. It doesn't hurt to reassure your existing data, right? So I learned Speed Demon again, and as to be expected, Mad Dog's self-inflicted damage was decreased once again, just like it happened in the first test. Lastly, I learned the Empath mutation because, well, it's supposed to boost teammates' defenses by default, and I wanted to see if it all stacked to show you guys as proof. And yes, Empath stacks with Speed Demon hidden effect, or whatever it is. I'm not sure. Can you see the difference? As a final comparison, here's the damage taken without Speed Demon or Empath, and then both together. The difference is really abysmal. No wonder bloodied builds can last so long these days, huh? With so many effects to reduce damage taken or even to block it. One last note, we tested this one on both live servers and PTS with update 32, so it's a feature or a bug which will be around for a while at least. Maybe in 2022 it will get fixed. Who knows what will happen. While testing mutations and finding out that hidden effect for Speed Demon, I also discovered something else. I discovered that a third player can act as a defense booster somehow. It could be a vanilla player with no mutations at all, or someone with a dozen mutations, it doesn't matter. This one has to be a heavy bug because I really can't figure out why it works the way it does. So if you have two players in a team, at least one must have Empath and Speed Demon, then if a third player joins, you all get a defense boost as well. This is how it works. It's very simple, but to get there, that wasn't easy at all. I tested this one with several variations. First of all, I had to use a grenade launcher, something stronger than my Gauss shotgun, because my current defense already makes me invulnerable with all these defense boosts in the official servers in team mode. I started to damage myself with no teammates, then my ult Termitim tagged along with Speed Demon, and well, as I already explained in the previous point, it slightly boosts teammates' defenses just like magic. It's a very strong magic in this case. Then my ult left, Mad Dog came along with both Empath and Speed Demon, and my defense got much higher. I barely even take any damage at this point. Then the three of us grouped up, as to be expected. I no longer take damage from my own grenade hits. But here's the funny fact: when I removed Speed Demon from Termitim, which was his only mutation, the damage buff stayed for all of us. As shown, I still take no damage from the grenades, but how? I mean, when I tested with Maddock alone, I still took some damage, and Tim has no Empath or Speed Demon to stack. I did the same test again, me alone, in and out of team, same damage dealt to myself. Then Maddock joined me with Empath and Speed Demon. I can still do some damage to myself, just like in the previous test. And finally, Team joined with no single mutation, and boom, same result. Defenses boosted for all of us. My self-damage gets neutralized this way. You know, I think you guys should try to test this if you can. I'm really curious to see if my character is bugged or something alike. I mean, it's also strange. And no, it's not related to strength in numbers. I also made sure to test with it, and I faced the same exact results with or without the perk. I really don't know if this is some sort of hidden feature from teams or public casual teams in particular, which is what we use to test here. It could also be another heavy bug for all we know, but one thing is for sure: full teams to really bring lots of benefits, even more than those officially announced by Bethesda, it seems like. So, what do you think? Do you think Bethesda has added a stealthy benefit to public teams? And what about Speed Demon? Why would it boost players' defenses when teamed up? It's not like the description remotely affects defense, but in reality it does. Now, I know I usually blame irregularities on bugs, and that's because Fallout 76 is one of the richest games around when it comes to bugs, but in this case, I want to believe there's more into it, as in there's something I'm missing, hopefully, because otherwise there are some heavy malfunctions in the defense system, and the worst part is that we are too used to play with them. Heck, who knows for how long these hidden effects have been around? Can you imagine if Bethesda even fixed them? How our defenses would suffer massively. Gameplay, as we know, wouldn't be the same anymore, especially for blooded builds. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful to you. Feel free to share any thoughts or experiences below. Who knows, maybe we can figure out what's really going on here in case I'm wrong. And expect another feature overview soon about explosive and fire damage changes with Update 32. That's what started all of this to begin with. And I apologize if I sounded strange in this video. It has been quite difficult for me to talk normally, but I tried my best. Flus are never funny. That's very true. Anyway, that's it for this one. Feel free to leave a like and consider subscribing if you haven't yet. I am Marta Branco. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon in the next one. Until then, take care. Adios. Bye bye.